We live in a world now that just hands us these templates and tells us to follow them. Eat this many whole grains or have oatmeal for your breakfast because it's healthy. Go vegan, go carnivore because plants are trying to kill us. Drink green juice. And meanwhile, your body has been giving you consistent feedback that something is not working. And somewhere along the way, we're taught to ignore that. Today, we're going to talk about why that is and what it actually looks like to start paying attention. You are showing up for everyone else, but somewhere along the way, you left yourself out and put your health on the back burner. The woman who takes care of everyone else needs someone in her corner too. Hey, I'm Cher, a certified holistic nutritionist, Christ follower, wife, and mom, and I created this podcast for you. Style and Stewardship is for the Christian woman who is done surviving her days and ready to steward her health legacy on purpose with real food built for the season of life that you're in. This is lifestyle stewardship for the woman who wants to do well, be well, and hear well done. I'm so glad you're here. So today we're going to go back to something foundational because the problem is not that you're not trying, because obviously you are. The problem is that healthy, quote unquote, is not a one size fits all. It's just not. What looks like the right choices on paper and on these templates, they might not be the right choices for your unique body that God gave you to steward. So it's not accounting for your history and the way you were specifically made. It's not looking at your family patterns or any of those things. And that is why I wanted to take it back to this episode. This was one that I actually recorded back in 2022, believe it or not. And I wanted to re-release this because I feel like you're going to get something from this, even if you've heard it before, that when you're listening to this in the proper context, just like when we're taking in the right things for our body in the right context, we just get so much more out of it. And I hope that you get something out of this episode. Be sure to share this with somebody that you know is on a health journey and they're trying to steward their health. Send this their way. And if you've never left a written review on your podcast app, please do that because it really does help the podcast. And before I was a podcaster, I was like, why is everyone asking you to leave reviews? And now I get it. So I would greatly appreciate if you would leave a review and share this with someone that you know is on their health journey. So let's hop into this episode and just kind of rewind so that we can look at how we can steward our body in the right context and from what point that's unique to you. Listen in. Before we get into this episode, I definitely want to just go ahead and do a medical disclaimer. Nothing that I share on this podcast or in this particular episode is to treat, cure, or diagnose any medical condition. Please take all of those concerns that you may have to your doctor, sharing for informational purposes only. I think so many times people overcomplicate what it means to eat healthy, and they overcomplicate it by thinking that it looks one specific way. When we're thinking about what makes us well, what makes us feel good, and the different things that, maybe we have a medical diagnosis or maybe we have a medical concern, and all of those things may affect the way that we need to be eating. And one of the hardest things, I believe, about sifting through a lot of the information that is out there is that many people are doing it all wrong. And when I say all wrong, I mean, if you are so focused on eating a particular way and having this specific template that is working for someone else, if you, for instance, have issues with your gut, if you are following someone who is telling you to be a raw vegan, you will literally hurt yourself because your stomach is already having issues. And as you are trying to eat this certain way, but you're not recognizing what's going on in your own body, you think that the way that you're eating, well, I'm doing all the things right. And they say this is healthy and I'm doing it and it is not working. We've got to stop ignoring what our body is saying in lieu of what someone says is the way that we should be eating. Your body, made by God, is so complex and also so particular about the things that make it feel well, the things that contribute to your own wellness. And if you keep jumping on every bandwagon of everything that everyone else is doing without consulting your body, what ends up happening is you start giving yourself these setbacks instead of giving yourself the freedom that you need to actually be well and feel well for your unique and specific body and your lifestyle and the way that you want to live and the way that you want to feel in your particular, concerns. So maybe you are someone who is approaching menopause, or maybe you are someone who has a bunch of kids and everyone eats something different in your family. Maybe you are concerned with certain things that run in your family, which that was one of the reasons why I began eating a certain way, because I understood that whatever it is, whether it is a genetic component, whether, it has something to do with just lifestyle and traditions that I've grown up eating or having. One of the biggest things that I realized was just because someone says eating this way is healthy, what does your body say about that? What does your body say about how you are eating? And getting in tune with what that means for you, getting in tune with the cues that your body is giving you, whether the hunger cues that you are getting, whether it's just the lifestyle that you want to live. Maybe you're buying things that you can't afford, or maybe you're not, maybe you're someone who doesn't like meal prepping. Maybe you're someone who only wants to meal prep one meal because that will set the rest of them up to be successful. If you are not looking at your own life and you're only looking at what other people are doing, you won't do what's best for you. And ultimately, you have different genes than the next person. You have different nutritional needs than the next person. There are some of us that struggle with getting enough vitamin D. If you have more melanin in your skin, you naturally it'll take a little bit more for you to get that melanin. I'm sorry, because of that melanin, it acts like sunglasses basically. And some of us have to supplement with vitamin D3 specifically so that our body can use that and make sure that we're getting what we need. Sometimes it is, maybe you have in your history, in your family history, diabetes, like I do, type 2 diabetes and juvenile diabetes in my family, along with some other things. You may be more conscious of, hey, if I eat something, it can't be so carbohydrate rich that I am, setting myself up to have some sort of issues with insulin sensitivity, and with, blood glucose levels. That's something that I particularly have to watch out for. The next person may not have had that in their medical history. The next person may not be predisposed to have certain conditions, whether it's through the way that your family just eats, or, there's so many different things that we can look at. And when we're focused on just the way someone else eats, or we're listening to something that was handed down from the government, for example, that says you need this many whole grains, guess what? Me particularly, if I eat as many whole grains as, these different institutions have passed down and said that this is great for every American, I particularly I believe you are as well. We don't need as many carbohydrates from refined products as some people are saying that we need. Or we're buying things from boxes that have been quote unquote fortified with more grains or more fiber, which sometimes that fiber that's added to that product may be wood pulp, or it may be, it could be so many different things. And if you have stomach issues, you see where I'm going with all of this. You have got to listen to your body. I've got to listen to my body way more than I listen to marketing. So this is when you start getting to a place where it's like, what can I try on for size? And I think that experimentation to find out what works best for you, while also listening to the different cues that are coming from your own body and your hormones, are going to give you such a better picture of what's actually healthy for you and for your body. This is a journey I've been on for years and years, whether it's from a familial standpoint of the things that run in my family, or it's things that I do or don't need based on my activity level and based on my lifestyle that do and don't work for me. That is my encouragement to you, is that you can find what is going to work best for you and for your body. The best place to start, in my opinion, is eating food from a whole food source, so that when you start narrowing down what does and doesn't work for you, you don't have to sift through the waters and wade through the waters of all the dozens and dozens and dozens of extra unnecessary chemicals and preservatives and colorants that may actually be contributing to some of the things that you are concerned about, or can contribute to some of the things that you are concerned about. Whether you're dealing with it now or whether it's something you are trying to avoid, you may have a condition that you are trying to reverse. And whenever we are just eating like everybody else and we're not in tune with our own bodies and our body's needs, then what ends up happening is we're really frustrated because what we're doing should be working instead of working with what works for us. This is something that it has taken me years and years and years to learn, where I thought, if I eat this particular way, and you can go back and you can listen to the episode I did on health mistakes that I've made with thinking veganism was the answer or thinking this was the answer, or that was the answer, instead of asking my body, not like, hey body, what's good for you? Not in that way, but when I say asking my body, putting things in and seeing the response that I have from different things, like my energy, my sleep patterns, my skin. The skin always tells a story. My hunger cues. Why am I always craving the sugar? Or why am I having this struggle that I didn't have before? Or looking at different changes, biofeedback, things that our biology, our body will actually be telling us is or is not working for us. So for the longest time, I thought it was this specific thing. You watch these documentaries and it's like everyone should be vegan. You watch this one and it's like everyone should be carnivore. You watch this one and it's like everyone should be having green tea. You watch this one, it's like no one should ever eat rice because of arsenic. There are so many different things, so many different schools of thought. And the only way to wade through that water is to actually consult your body. And I don't mean talk to your body, but I mean listen to the feedback that your body is giving you so that you know what does and doesn't work for you. That right there is the plug. That right there is what I have found has given me more, and have grace with yourself, but that is what has given me more insight than any certain thing that I've ever tried to follow. Your body is extremely, extremely complex. Excuse me. And I really think that I spoke about this on another episode about hydration and diabetes and things like that. I bought a glucometer because I was shaky and I was having frequent output, and I thought, what is going on? And as something that is on my radar because it runs in my family, I thought, okay, oh my goodness, these are like the warning signs of diabetes. And learning just by doing that process that my body wasn't getting the hydration that it needed because I was constantly flushing out minerals. But you can go back and listen to that episode. But this is my point. This is such a complex thing. And I don't say that to overwhelm you. I say that to say all of these things are so complex, but the body, your body, is giving you clues right now and is sending cues to you right now. We have drowned out the messages that our own physiology are giving us, our own health is giving us, in lieu of listening to clever marketing or people telling us we have to have this amount, or you should be eating raw kale salads, which are terrible for your stomach. I can talk about that on another episode. So it is really, really important to have, a bit of the science and learn what there's certain foods that if we eat them raw will make us sick. There are certain foods that if we are predisposed to certain things, we have a harder time handling and dealing with. So though, thank you God, I don't have type 2 diabetes, I do understand that the different things that I was exposed to eating growing up, if I continued to eat the way everyone around me was eating, I would get the diseases and issues and chronic conditions that people around me had. So it's really important that you don't just look at, oh, this is complex and it's hard. And in a sense, it makes things a little easier. If there's something in your background that you don't want to get, if there is something in your background that you think, oh my goodness, I'm predisposed to this thing because on my maternal side, on my paternal side, these are the things that were in my family. It actually shows you warning signs. And those things, you're not destined to get those things. I think that we can be predisposed to something, but we're not destined to get those things, especially if we are doing things to prevent. Preventative measures are amazing. So if if something runs in your family and there's certain dietary things that you've watched people around you eat, or there's certain dietary choices that people made on a daily basis that were a part of their lifestyle. So say, for example, I can use my grandmother. My grandmother fried a lot of things and she ate fast food maybe once or twice a day. And when she did make, say, vegetables, collard greens, or she liked turnip greens, which I'm trying to like them, but I don't. But she would put massive amounts of sodium. We would go out to eat at maybe one of those buffet places. I used to call them buffets. But these buffet places, and she would literally ask them to bring her a plate of fried fatback. So this is a highly processed thing. It's cured, it's packed with sodium. And it's not just like, we're not talking table salt. It is packed with straight up sodium in its concentrated form. And there's no nutritional value in that. And she's eating a plate full of it. And this is just a regular thing that she did. Fried pork chop sandwiches on white bread. My point is saying that there's so much processed food. I mean, she ate real food too, and she cooked real food, but there's so many things that were out of a can, and canning isn't bad. There are just certain things that you're not going to get the nutrients in that food if it's been preserved, quote unquote, in salt and brine and all of those things where it's no longer active with phytonutrients. So phytonutrients are an active thing, and if we freeze them, it retains those phytochemicals. But if we put it in a can, it's a different story. And then you grow up and you eat like things like the macaroni noodles with the sauce packet and beefaroni or whatever those things are. And those things in and of themselves aren't bad. As a matter of fact, if you made them from scratch, you'd actually get some nutritional value from them. But these highly processed things and noodle packets with these packs of sodium, actually, yeah, that's exactly what they were, but artificially flavored and colored, and eating an entire pack of one of those that comes in that little thing of noodles I think it's more than your daily value of sodium intake. So my point is, you can create a perfect storm of conditions. If you eat like everybody around you ate, it will make you predisposed to the things that they exposed themselves to. That is one of the things that I've been on this journey about. That is one of the things that I want to encourage other people about. I've encouraged people in my family about that. Sometimes it falls on, most of the time it falls on deaf ears. I just feel like this is something that if my family won't listen or people around me won't listen, I want to share it with you in case you have ever felt like you are destined to have this issue or you are destined to have that issue. And the truth is, you are more empowered when you can make the decisions and have the information that can literally turn around your family's health legacy. And that is something I'm truly passionate about, because I don't want my son or my husband, since I do most of the cooking, well, I do all the cooking, and I love that, but I don't want to ignore the things that I know that I'm predisposed to. And I want to make sure that other people have the information that I tried to give to my grandmother when she was here. There are just so many different things that we can talk about when it comes to that. But I just wanted to remind you that you do not have to eat like everyone says you should eat. And I'm going to give you one more example. Oatmeal, for example. So there are people that are like, eat oatmeal, put some peanut butter in it or some nut butter in it, and put some, seeds on top or some almond butter. And, this is breakfast. I can personally tell you, if I eat like that and I pull my glucometer out, no lie, because I've done this, it spikes my blood sugar. I feel jittery and shaky and anxious. And then it's almost like a switch turns on and I crave so many sugary things, or it's like I crave more packaged things. So is oatmeal the healthiest thing in the world? Not for me, not like that. Do I still have some, I have some like gluten-free oats. I make muffins out of them. I put things in them that have protein, because I can't just eat a carbohydrate like that and be fine. It does something to me, and I have to listen to that. So it even affected my husband, where he was like, man, I'm so shaky after I have oatmeal in the morning. And I told, I had to share with him, have your because he's going to have a protein shake anyways, because when you wake up really early, you don't really want to eat a lot. So all he wants is that little bowl of oatmeal. And it's like, okay, if you have a protein shake with that, you can blunt how much sugar is going to be dropped into your bloodstream if you have a shake that has fiber and fat and protein in it. And that is what he does. He can't not have it like that, or else he gets anxious, he gets shaky, he gets jittery, and we're told, "Oh, oatmeal is awesome. Just have a big bowl of oatmeal in the morning and couple that with some orange juice and maybe 2 slices of bacon, and that's a complete breakfast." Yeah, maybe for some it is, but for us, that does not work. So this is not about me telling you what works and what doesn't work for you. This is about me encouraging you to find and see what works for you. Get in a place that you know what your body needs. And it is one of the most impactful things that I think that you can do is listen to your body and eat whole foods so that when you have an issue or if you have an issue, you know where the heck it came from. Your body is specific, your history is specific, and the support you need should be too. If you're ready for that kind of personalized approach, you can apply to work with me at styleandstewardship.com/apply. APP. Oh, until next time, your life matters. What you do with it matters. So, what will you steward well?